Hey, welcome to the Happy Rant podcast. I am Ted Cluck, joined, as always, in studio by my good friends, my partners in radio, my partners in being certified Enneagram coaches, Barnabas Piper and Ronald J. Martin. Boys, congratulations on your certifications. I look forward to monetizing that at some future point with you guys when we can do conferences again, and we will do our Enneagram conference together. But before that, we got a little bonus content. This is a little bonus episode this week, a little bonus quarantine app. And I want to talk about some of our quarantine favorites. And we're just going to work through a few categories in pop culture. And I want you guys to give me your quarantine favorites so far in each of these categories. So let's go shows. Favorite quarantine shows. Piper, what have you watched, consumed lately that you've liked?
I haven't discovered any new shows recently that I love, so I have been reintroducing Lauren, my fiance, to the show Justified, which is one of my top 2 or 3 favorites ever. And I figured it was a good starting place because, you know, The Wire is one of my favorites, but that's a deep dive. You got to really know somebody before you're like, hey, watch this show about.
Yeah, a little gritty for the fiance.
A little rough. So I had to kind of work our way to that one. So yeah, reintroducing myself to Raylan Givens and Boyd Crowder and the whole crew in Justified, and it's as good as it ever was. It holds up really well. It's very rewatchable. Great fun.
There you go.
Have you watched it?
I've not watched it, but I've heard great things. I need to.
It's really well written, like very clever. So it's a kind of a cop show set in Eastern Kentucky with sort of a Western vibe, but really smart and funny.
Yeah, dude, that's dope. I got to check that out for sure. Ronald, quarantine shows?
Yeah, so we just started watching Lost again.
Oh, Lost is so fun.
Yeah, we just like it's
that feels metaphorical to me.
I mean, it was. Yeah. There's a lot of metaphor going on with it, but I mean, man, the series ended like almost 10 years ago, and I was like, let's just do it. Let's just watch it again. And so like we're watching it. We're about almost to the end of season 1, and it's like you remember some of it, but it's been so long it feels like kind of new. So it's been
baby. So can I throw you a couple like rapid fire Lost questions?
Yeah, throw it.
If you had to hang out with like anybody in the show, like who would your Lost hangout be?
Yeah, dude, that's a great question. I think, I'd probably want to hang with Jack, the main guy, Matthew Fox, or
Jack drives me crazy. I want to punch Jack in the face.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying with that too, so I don't disagree with that. And but I might want to hang out with John Locke because he's mysterious and he's exploratory, and like I kind of want to get to the heart of what's going on the island, and he's somebody that like is thinking that way, and I like that. And Saeed is the same way. Like, hey, let's figure out what's going on. We're probably not going to get rescued, so let's just start exploring. And I kind of dig that.
Yeah, I dig that too, man. I dig that too. Piper, are you a Lost guy?
I don't think I've ever watched more than about 30 seconds of any episode of Lost, so it's complete blank space for me. I feel lost right now.
Interesting. Speaking of blank space, music. Quarantine music. What are you guys enjoying? Music. Oh, I got to talk about my show.
Yeah, talk about your show. What have you been watching?
Baby, Great News on Netflix. I had watched through Great News a couple of years ago when it came out. So this is some of the same people who did 30 Rock. So one of the main writers on 30 Rock plus Tina Fey.
Oh, that's right.
Is a producer of Great News. Dude, it's so funny. Really, really funny show.
Did it only last like a season? Like one season?
Yeah, they had 2 seasons. Season 1 is way funnier than season 2. But they're both pretty funny, so we're watching through that, enjoying it. Obviously, Cheers, man, is quarantine or non-quarantine. I've always got Cheers going in my life. So yeah, man, just a couple of shows we're enjoying. What about quarantine music, boys?
Real quick, man, I've never watched an episode of Cheers. Is that weird?
Baby, that's so weird. I feel like you would like it so much. Truly, it's like incredibly nostalgic, very 80s. It's really clever. Like the first season of Cheers is some of the best TV writing ever.
I mean, that's what you always hear. That's what you always hear.
Yeah, I mean, we see things through this lens of like, oh, television's never been better, and like modern prestige television is the best. But like, if you're like me and you feel like modern prestige television is just a smidge cynical and hopeless, Like Cheers is a good sort of antidote to that, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of like Pipe. I kind of had a version of the Pipe household where like there was no way on earth I would have ever been allowed to watch Cheers.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Dude, now what's the most sort of mainstream show that you were allowed to watch?
Oh,
like
man.
how far did the Martin parents go on like letting you watch?
Dude, it's the 80s, right? So like we were allowed to watch like the A-Team, you know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could watch people getting like addled with gunfire, but just not like sipping.
Yeah,
a beer.
for sure. Yeah, violence is always the thing that's okay. And
Christians love violence. They really
violence
do.
just isn't a bad thing. And then of course we watch Little House on the Prairie on Monday nights.
Well, you can't ask your kids to read the Old Testament and then tell them that violence is bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like my parents, when I was little, like they wanted to get us in the habit of reading the Bible. And so they would be like, for 10 or 15 minutes after breakfast, before school. And I would always complain about being bored. And my dad would be like, go read Judges. And so you read about like tent pegs being nailed through people's head and a left-handed dude stabbing a fat guy until the sword disappears in his belly. It's really hard to tell kids that like watching violence is bad after encouraging them to read Judges.
Dude, John Piper was pro-violence. That's interesting.
Yep, that's what I just said, loud and clear.
Baby, if John Piper was on the A-Team, which character would he be?
Oh,
He'd be
dude, is that yeah, that's not even a question.
No, it's not. Which character would you be? Would you be Face?
Yeah, I'd be Face, obviously. I'll be.
Dude, I love it. Who would Pipe be on the A-Team?
Mr. T.
Mr. T. Dude, I love it.
Just kind of angry.
I feel complimented.
Around thinking they're certified about
like
everything.
ripping doors off their hinges and like kicking stuff over.
Hold on, I just took out my crayons and wrote myself a certificate that I'm a certified Mr. T. So we're
certified Mr. T coach. I love it. Oh, it's so good.
That is
all right, music, quarantine music. What are we listening to? Big R, you're the music guy. Go.
Oh, dude, don't ask me that, man. I know whenever somebody asks me that, I go blank, man.
This is my favorite because I knew it was coming.
Dude,
yeah,
dude,
I knew that.
I hate it. I hate that question. I don't know.
Piper, one day I'm going to ask our boy that question, and he's just going to say an answer, and he's going to forget that he has to go through this tortured, thing of.
Do you think the reason that Ronnie can't remember music that he listens to is because everything he listens to is by bands with just inscrutable names?
All right, here's one for you, Pipe. All right, Pipe, you ready? I've been listening to an artist named Geseffelstein. Okay, are you happy?
See?
Geseffelstein. Are you stoked now? Are you pumped?
Yes, I'm excited that you remembered a name. I'm also excited that the name is one I couldn't repeat back to you. This is great.
Boys, all I want you to do is go listen to Blast Off by Geseffelstein, where lead singer on this track is Pharrell. So there you go. It'll be you'll get some.
Can you spell that Pharrell band name for me, please? I don't know how to look that up.
Geseffelstein. I mean, dude, Geseffl Stein, Stein. I don't know.
Dude, what swanky East Coast private college did Geseffelstein go to?
Oh, dude, he's European. Let's be honest.
Oh, Euro. That's even one step
he's like elitist. He's like a producer, dude hanging out with Daft Punk. He's one of those.
Oh, dudes. Yeah. That guy. Absolutely.
So listen to Blast Off by Geseffelstein, man. You guys will have a good afternoon.
Piper, quarantine music.
Man, I always go to old dead artists. So not a lot of new music in my life these days. A lot of Sam Cooke in my home these days, though. So a lot of just like old school soul music is. There's always jazz, there's always blues, but old school soul has been the music of quarantine because it's it fits the vibe of we're just making it.
Yeah, we're just making it exactly. Boys, I literally haven't listened to a song in 2 weeks. I haven't listened to any music.
Stop.
To me, music is it's like a conduit for dreaming. And this just isn't the moment we're in. We're not thinking about the future. You know what I mean? You're just getting through the day. So
wow, that's an epic. That's kind of a Yoda tweet right there. You're not thinking about the future. That. You're just getting through the day.
Baby, listen to me. You feel free to use that, okay? If this will move your Yoda life forward, I want you to know that it's yours.
Oh man, okay? That's tempting, man.
So yeah, question for you guys about music and parenting. What has been your strategy in introducing your children to good music, because children, if left to their own devices, have the worst taste in music ever. So influencing and slash indoctrinating, because it's kind of both and.
Yeah, interesting.
It's in some ways it's fighting a losing battle, because they're not going to want to listen to it because you're listening to it, and that's always problematic. So all you can do, in my opinion, is kind of put it around them, play those songs around them, and then later on, when they're not just trying to be opposite, they might end up. It might end up reminding them of the good days, and then they'll be drawn to it. That's my advice.
Okay, I got you. Because my kids will get in the car and ask they're like, hey, can we listen to 90s music? And
really?
Not always, but like once a week. And it feels like a great victory to me. I don't even know if like 90s music, that's not a thing. That's a lot of things. But it feels like when they do that, this is great, because it's so much better than like the Billie Eilish stuff that they're consuming through their ear holes every other hour of the day.
Dude, it's somebody like in our age genre played Billie Eilish for me. Kind of like, see, this is this is a big deal. This is a big
thing. But
Eilish
is dope, though. I mean, let's be honest.
I don't know. I wasn't feeling it necessarily, but to each their own.
Unlike many musicians, I do feel like she captured, like, she's a musician as opposed to like you're sort of your top 40 pop stuff.
Yeah, she's a true weirdo. She's a true artist. So
she would fit well in the early 90s or 80s in terms of sort of
she absolutely would have.
I'm avant-garding this thing to death.
Avant-garde, sad, emo.
Which is always weird, man. To make it that big with something that weird, that doesn't happen in our day and age anymore.
In a weird way, it had kind of a Juice WRLD vibe to me, like just very deep into its own feelings, which is not to say that it was bad.
Well, I think she's like a homeschool kid who plays music with her brother, who has a name like some Old Testament prophet or something like that. I mean, it is
Gesaffelstein is his name. That's his first name.
That's everybody now, though.
Judah Gesaffelstein.
Guys, I just emailed you the link, so just click on it and you'll see the track with Pharrell, and you'll dig it. So
I will do that, definitely.
Actually, I think you'll like it, Ted. I'm not sure about you, Pipe.
No, I probably will. Yeah, probably will. Last category, real quick, boys. Quarantine movies.
Oh, dude. I just saw Emma, the new Emma.
Dude, is it good? Is it as good as the old Emma with Jeremy Northam and that girl?
I only lightly remember that one, Big T, but like this one. This was before we weren't allowed to see people. So we had a couple people over, and we had a little too much dialogue going during the whole thing. But it was. That's
my pet peeve. You can't talk to me.
I know. But we were eating a lot of really delicious food, so that kind of jacked us up. But it was I didn't super love it, but I'll tell you what I did love is that the whole thing, the way it was shot and the colors and like the filming was like over the top. It was literally over the top.
Oh, nice.
So you should see it. You and Double K need to see it for sure. Don't even hesitate.
Yeah, we'll probably see it.
Yeah, don't even.
Piper, quarantine movies?
Well, the first week of quarantine, I had my kids with me, and so we're just trying to survive. So it was a lot of movies aimed at 14 and under females. The only one that stands out is Frozen 2 as one that was like, I guess that was a goodish movie. I don't think I've seen another movie since this thing started. So I'm on a movie dry spell. Kind of like you and music. Like, movies to me are things that fit into windows of life when life is super relaxed. It is not super relaxed right now. So not a lot of movies going on.
No, I feel that. Dude, for us, we've been working through Cameron Crowe's movies. So I showed my kids, showed them Jerry Maguire, showed them Elizabethtown. They're digging Cameron Crowe, and I'm digging it too, because there's a little like crackle of hopefulness in his movies. Even though they're clever, they're a little bit cynical, they're funny. I love the hopefulness to them. So,
dude, I didn't know Elizabethtown was a Crowe.
Dude, I love Elizabethtown. It's low key my favorite Crowe. It might be the perfect movie, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so name other Cameron Crowe movies, because I haven't seen either of the ones you just said. And I feel like he's
Almost Famous.
Nope,
he was Almost Famous.
Never saw that one either.
That's kind of his classic. That's Crowe's classic.
He was Say Anything back in the 80s with John Cusack. So Say Anything was Cameron Crowe. Let's see. Yeah, Almost Famous, Jerry Maguire. Maguire and Almost Famous are his two biggest probably, and then Elizabethtown. He did Fast Times at Ridgemont High way back in the 80s, which I'm.
Oh, that was him?
That was him, yeah. That was like
I had no idea.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
goodness, I feel the pressure to catch up now. I have seen none of those.
Yeah, you need some
Cameron
education.
Crowe was like back when I started to think like when I very first thought of myself as like a artistic person. He was like the first director that I actually liked. Like I faked liking Quentin Tarantino in the 90s, but I really didn't. But Cameron Crowe, like I legit liked. Yeah, interesting guy too, man. Fascinating backstory. Married to one of the ladies from Heart, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Pretty cool too. So there it is, boys. Ronald, we gotta get you off the air here and get you onto your Zoom call with.
Dude, I got a few minutes.
Yeah. Do we want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Let's do one more. So I'm going to call this like just a free for all. So anything you've been enjoying that doesn't fit into the books, movies, or actually we didn't do books. So let's do books. Let's do quarantine reading. Go for it, Big R.
Oh, dude, Pipe, you go first, man. I'm trying to remember what I.
All right. I'm going to cheat and do audiobooks because I think those count.
That counts.
I just finished listening to all of the Walt Longmire series, so by Craig Johnson, and they are brilliant books. They're so fun. Kind of the same way I described Justified as a show.
Yeah,
Longmire's
dude,
like
it's
that.
Just the same thing as the Longmire show. Was this made into a series?
The show is based off of them, and the show does a pretty good job representing the books. But the books, typical of books, there's just more included, so more character development, more depth. They're a great combination of like cultural snapshots of this unique sort of small Wyoming town, Indian reservation. A lot of blending of, Western white culture and historic Indian spiritualism in different places. They're really funny. Like the main character is a sheriff named Walt Longmire, and his best friend is an Indian guy, and their interactions are hilarious. So but there's like 16 or 17 of those books, and
wow.
Maybe not quite that many. Maybe it was 12 or 13, but they're read by I'm blanking on his name. George Goodell is the name of the narrator, and he is one of the best narrators, just in terms of subtly bringing different characters to life and doing different voices without being over the top, different accents. So nice. As audiobooks, those are money. They're so good.
Interesting.
Oh man.
Ronald, what about you, man?
All right, so I finally started on this book that I've had sitting on my shelf now for a couple of years called All the Light We Cannot See by a guy named Anthony Doerr. I think is how you pronounce his last name.
KK read that.
It's really good.
Yeah, and I tried to start it a couple of times. I finally started it, and I'm just super like, I got it. I'm into it. And I'm reading how to describe it right now. It's about a blind French girl and a German boy whose paths collide in occupied France as they both try to survive World War II. So there's your Amazon blurb for no money that I just
one of them opens a bakery. It's a light.
Yeah, one of them opens a bakery.
It's called Chocolat.
Autobiography. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a hard book to describe because what makes it good is just
don't give it away, Pipe. Don't give it away.
I'm not giving anything away. What makes it good is that it's is the beauty of the writing. Like it's just that well written, and it's really hard to sell people on a book when they're like, "Well, what's it about?" You're like, "It's about how good this author is at writing." That's what this is about.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's his name that we all love. Peace like
Ted Cluck. No,
Jared C.
Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, Jared C. Wilson.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. Boys, I haven't been reading anything. I literally haven't read a thing since.
That's because you've been writing your novel, Swimming with Moms.
Ted, let me get this straight. You're not listening to music. You're not reading. Like how are you surviving?
What are you doing, Big T? Seriously,
dude, here's what I'm doing. I'm watching NFL tape. I'm breaking down like Rex Ryan blitz packages. I'm watching old Jets tape, and I'm doing padded spring football practices with my boys every day.
Wow.
So we're out in the backyard. We're in gear. So we're running this thing. We're doing spring ball. We're making T-shirts, the whole deal. So yeah, man, not a lot of reading going on, but I'll get back on the reading horse soon. It's only a matter of time. But maybe I'll check out this book you guys are talking about. KK was really fond of it. So
oh wow.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you should do it. You should do. We can compare notes. We can do an All the Light We Cannot See Happy Rant pod, which everybody will love.
Sad rant. Yeah, sad rant. Dude, it sounds like a soul crusher though. You know what I mean? It sounds like the kids are gonna die and it's just gonna be awful, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean it doesn't feel like it can go any other way. I'm like 4 chapters in, Yeah.
It's gotta go that way. If it's literary, like if it's a serious novel that people took seriously, then everybody's dying. It's
not a Greek tragedy. Don't worry. It's there is sadness and hopefulness in it. I'm not giving anything away, but it's not like a.
I love how mad that made you when I said.
That annoyed me. Yeah,
everybody's mad.
It's like
everybody is mad today. I love this.
It's like you haven't been podcasting with me for the last 6 years, Ronnie. To turn that line back around on you.
He gave away something, Pipe. That's what I was.
Oh, was there that one time?
Reminiscing back to.
Okay. I don't remember what we podcasted on 7 minutes ago, so remembering what I might have given away in the past is lost on me.
I don't either. It was just funny. It's funny how mad you
Well, boys, speaking of giving things away, we have to give Ronald away. We have to give him away to the world of Zoom. We have to give him Pipe. We have to give him back to the Wilsons.
Ted, you got your transition vibe back. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm smooth now. I'm smooth.
Oh, you gained it back. You came back.
We got to give Ronald back to his legal guardians now. Jared C. Wilson and his wife via Zoom. So
you're never going to know his wife's name, are you?
Dude, what is his wife's name?
No, I don't want to ever tell it to you because I think it's so funny.
I think you calling her the Mrs. is the best, so I'm just going to let that one.
It's the 50s.
We're just going to let it go with that.
Yeah. There we go. I love it. Well, boys, we've done what we always do on this program, and we have wandered to and fro throughout some topics. And until next time.
The Happy Rant is brought to you by Resonate Recordings. If you go to resonaterecordings.com, you can see the full range of services they offer. So if you're considering starting a podcast, they are the ones we recommend going with. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see their prices, to connect with them and ask any questions, and to see what they can do to help you launch, edit, master, and improve your podcast. Again, go to resonaterecordings.com to see what they can do to help you launch and improve your podcast.